What's up guys, it is Chris back with another watch video, and today we are taking a look at another Zelos. This is the Abyss. This is a recent release from Zelos. I was able to get my hands on one by asking Elshan if I could borrow one for review. He was gracious enough to allow me to borrow this watch. I've had it for about 3 weeks, so I've been wearing the Abyss for a few weeks, and now it's almost time for me to actually return it back to Elshan, back to Zelos, so I figured I'd do a full review. As normal, I will start with specs, and I will move on to what I like about the watch, or what I think is just okay. I will do a strap change, I'll discuss movement and movement accuracy, then we'll do a good loom shot, because it's always good with Zelos, discuss price after that. So, getting right into it, the specs. As I mentioned, this is a 3,000 meter dive watch. It is the Abyss. It is a huge watch, so specs are big on this watch. 43 millimeter case, 51 millimeters lug to lug, 18.5 millimeters thick. Really, it comes in at around 20 millimeters thick if you include the domed sapphire crystal, and that domed sapphire crystal has AR coating on the inside. 120 click bezel. This has the SW260, and that is because we have small seconds here at the 6 o'clock in the form of a turbine. So that is meant to look like a turbine spinning at 6 o'clock. We have a loomed crown that is loomed with C3. We have a ceramic bezel, also loomed. The hands indices are also loomed, and there's a little bit of a special thing on this watch we'll get into later, which is kind of different from all other Zelos. Other than that, there is nice finishing on the case throughout. Very nicely finished, feels very nice in your hands. There's a nice beveled edge here on the case with a polish flank here, and then we have brushing on the sides and the tops of the lugs. The bezel itself is just really grippy and very nice. So what I like about this watch, for starters, like I said, Elshan let me borrow this watch, and immediately when I look through the available models from what he actually posted on the Facebook page, this blue dial, blue bezel immediately stood out to me, and I needed to review that watch, and this is it. I also liked that turbine. When I first saw it, I really liked the idea that he was doing something a little bit different, and of course that is what Zelos is about. So, I have to say the dial and bezel execution for recent Zelos in general have been really very good. As microbrands go, Zelos are very original, and sometimes original designs don't really come off great, if you know what I mean. Sometimes an original design actually will come off a little bit crazy, and I don't think Zelos come off in that way at all. In fact, they've created somewhat of a brand DNA for such a young brand that they're actually, when you see a Zelos, if you know what it is, you would recognize it immediately, even if you've never seen that model before. So even though I've never seen the Abyss 3 with a single crown and a turbine in it, the moment I saw this watch, it immediately clicked. This is a Zelos, and I want to review it. It looks really good, and it kind of reminded me of every other Zelos that I've seen. So what Zelos have done, what Elshan have done, have created a brand, and that's really tough when you're such a young brand and Zelos is doing it. I think they're definitely getting there. The quality of the fit and finish on this watch is great. It's in standing with all the recent releases from Zelos. Again, fit and finish, as you can see, everywhere you have really nice brushing and polishing. The back of this case is actually perfectly smooth and very nice, and there's a little bit of an engraving, which you can see. Hopefully it looks like a submarine underwater. It's kind of cool. There's definitely some writing on the back here. This is number 32 of 75, and it is water resistant to 3,000 meters, it says here, and that is it. It says Zelos Abyss. Not too much on this watch, and it's very, very small writing, but a very, very nice engraving on the back. The bracelet really stands out for me on this watch. It's sort of like a President style, but the finishing is very, very well done. There is some polishing and brushing, so it's not just all brushed. It's actually very, very nice. And like I said, it's like a President style, so it's very comfortable and just an overall very good looking watch. The clasp, again, very much stands out to me. Zelos have changed their clasps over from a previous version. These are extremely solid milled clasps, and all of their watches are getting them. They're fantastic. I highly recommend these bracelets if you're buying a Zelos and a bracelet is available. Obviously not available on bronze versions, but I definitely recommend getting a bracelet on any stainless steel version that you get, especially when the price difference is not very big at all. If they're not offering a bracelet like on the Mako, it was only I think a $49 or $59 option, and you got a bracelet, and it's so worth the money. I like the turbine, but I could probably do without the turbine as well. Like I said, I like it. I think it looks good when the loom is lit. It looks pretty cool. But you don't really need that turbine there. It's just there for a little bit of a novelty. I don't know how long that will last, that novelty, but that's what I would say. I'll do a quick wrist watch look here. So I don't have a watch on right now. It's early in the morning, so you guys could see how it looks on my wrist. And I have a 7.5 inch wrist, and you can see I have very big hands, and I'll try and get as far away from the camera as possible. It does look big, and it's a very, very chunky, very, very big watch, and there's no other way of saying it. So what I'm going to do now, and actually the way I've been wearing it mostly, is on the rubber strap that was provided by Zelos. So I will switch over to the rubber strap, and we will take a look at that on wrist. So there you have it on the rubber strap that is provided by Zelos. It is a slotted rubber strap, comes with a really nice milled chunky buckle here, and it is of course signed Zelos right there. There's two things that always stand out on Zelos watches in general. One is bezel action, at least for me, and the second is Lume, and this has a little bit of a party trick when it comes to Lume. So, but quickly what I'll do is I'm going to go through some of the things that I don't like about the watch, and then we will go into the Lume shot, and then we'll talk about movement accuracy and pricing. So what I don't like about it, obviously I don't like the thickness. I think that is going to be a problem for most people. As you could see, wearing this on my 7.5 inch wrist, especially on the strap, it's very evident that this watch is very, very thick, and I think that's going to be a problem for a lot of people. Other than that, 3,000 meters water resistance I think is overkill. I say this with many of my watches and many of my videos. 200 meters is really all I need most of the time. I am desk diving. I'm not really going diving. 3,000 meters is way overkill. I don't think anybody ever really needs it. And that really is the major issue I guess I would have with this watch. On my 7.5 inch wrist, I felt like when I have it on this rubber strap, it sits very nicely and does not move. The problem is on a bracelet, because of the heaviness of the case of the watch, or the head of the watch will slide on your wrist, so you find yourself adjusting a lot. If you have a larger wrist, that won't be a problem, but I do have what is a somewhat large wrist. It's a medium-sized wrist, I would say, and that was the problem for me. So I put it on this strap. I think it looks, and it's one of the few Zeloses that look just as good on the strap as it does the bracelet. I think that the Mako does that too. I think the Swordfish looks better on the bracelet in my opinion. This is just my opinion, of course, but I really like the way this watch looks on the strap. It's very long, and I believe this would be excellent for diving, especially because it's very, very visible. It's legible. Also, I did find a problem with the bracelet. There was a little bit of a problem. So you can see here, when you close down the bracelet, there is a little bit of a height on this link here. So if you want to use the micro adjust, it will sit a little bit higher on top of that link. So it does bulge out a little bit, and I kind of wasn't able to use, or didn't want to use, the micro adjusts because of that. So that is a problem that I found, and you can see here the actual clasp slit, the clasp itself sits flush with that link, so that link will interrupt that flushness. So it won't sit flush once you actually use the micro adjust. Not a huge deal because I'm not going to actually use. I didn't need to use the micro adjust at all. It fit me perfectly, and there are some small links that you could remove, but if you do need to use the micro adjust to get that extra perfect fit, probably not going to happen very, very well with this issue right here. All the links are screwed in. Very, very nice bracelet. Milled end links, of course, very nicely finished, but it does have that little bit of a problem, which I definitely have to mention. And that's it. That's really all I could say. I really like the watch in general, and if you're buying it and you're using it on the strap, this is a really, really great watch. It's really great on the bracelet. You just might not be able to get it down to the perfect size for yourself. So really quick, I will discuss movement accuracy. I put this on my Tool Watch app, which is an app which you can just download for free. However, it's actually a very good app where you can time your watch against an atomic clock, and that's what I did with this watch. The Sellita SW260 did very well. It was -4 seconds per day, and that's basically an average over a few tests that I did over the last few weeks, and that was with use. So I was wearing it in between tests, so it takes 24 hours to complete a test, so I completed about 3 or 4 tests, and that was the average. Anyway, I will charge the watch and with some UV light, and then we will do a really quick Loom test and then discuss price. Okay, so I don't even really need to charge this watch too much. It's insane. The brightness of the Loom is just ridiculous. And also, I mean, it's not even dark in here, and you could see it's insane. I'm unscrewing the crown, which of course is loomed, as you can see. I'll take it off my wrist so you can see it a little bit better. And there you have it. The Zelos, the Z, and that was what I was alluding to before, a little bit special, something a little bit different. It's almost like Elshan is sitting around thinking about what else he can loom, and I love it. I think fans of Loom will love it as well. You can see that Z is loomed. And of course the crown is loomed. And this is very nice crown action. Very similar to the recent releases from Zelos, very smooth. But what the Loom does, and I don't know if this is something you can actually see from the video, but the turbine sort of lights up a little bit, almost like a disco ball, getting light reflected off of it. It looks really cool. The hands, very bright, very, very good loom. Obviously the fully ceramic loom bezel looks fantastic. Loomed chapter ring, loomed logo. I mean, you know, loom galore on this watch as usual. Anyway, so pricing on this watch. Very, very good pricing on this watch. 3,000 meter water resistant watch, and the price on this right now is $699. I believe this goes up to $849 in a few weeks, or in a few weeks or a few months. I'm not exactly sure of the date, but it's definitely on the website. Definitely check that out. I could put it in the comments below. But definitely check this watch out. It does have a Sellita 260. The other versions have an SW 200. There are a bunch of different versions with green dials. There's bronze. There's ones with a double compressor case, so there's 2 crowns instead of the one. This is the turbine. This is the one that I chose, but there are other versions without the turbine that are very, very good looking, and some similar colorways to this. And there is also a black version. The black sand version is always my recommendation with Zelos. I think the dial is insane for the price, and I believe it's $6.99 also. But you just can't go wrong. It's such a classic everyday color. Dial is perfect, and it adds a little bit of texture, so it's really, really a nice option. You can see the loom is really hanging on here. It's pretty incredible. Anyway, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Please don't forget to hit me up on Instagram at watchchrisblog. Excuse me. I also started a website. It's watchchrisblog.com. That's getting up, and I haven't had much time to get it going, but it's up now and just starting to post on there as well. Please add a comment below. It's much appreciated. Tell me what you think of this watch. Is it too thick? In my opinion, for me, it is, but I'm sure there are people out there who are looking for a 3,000 meter dive watch who may or may not even go diving, and this is the watch for them. I think it's an incredible watch. Definitely something to behold in the hands. It feels like a lot of watch. Even though it's 43 millimeters, doesn't wear incredibly huge, but it is high. But anyway, please, like I said, add a comment below. Tell me what you think of this watch, and thank you for logging on.